Remember when you were watching your favorite show, totally relaxed, then bam, one of the main characters just got wiped off the map out of nowhere and you were left staring at the screen like, wait, did that just happen? Today, we're counting down 6 of the most shocking character deaths in network TV history. Think we left someone out? Drop your dive in. Don't forget to like and subscribe. It really helps the channel. Alright, let's get it. Number 5, Edgar Stiles, 24, Fox. At number 5, we have Edgar Stiles from 24, played by Louis Lombardi. Edgar was the lovable CTU tech who proved that being helpful, loyal, and competent was basically a death sentence on this show. 24 aired on Fox from 2001 to 2010 and followed Jack Bauer, played by Kiefer Sutherland, through the worst workdays in human history. Each season unfolding in real time, one crisis-packed hour at a time. Edgar wasn't a field agent. He didn't shoot bad guys or scream into phones. He was a computer analyst with a photographic memory, a degree from NYU, and the patience to deal with Chloe O'Brien without quitting on the spot. He saved thousands of lives, stopped a nuclear meltdown, exposed moles, and just kept showing up, usually underappreciated and always overcaffeinated. And in season 5, they took him out with nerve gas. When Sentox was released at CTU, the staff scrambled for sealed safe rooms. Edgar stayed behind to help. He was literally seconds away from safety when the doors slammed shut. Then came the moment that broke viewers. Edgar and Chloe locked eyes through the glass. No last-minute miracle, no music cue, just Edgar accepting his fate while everyone watched.
Chloe.
The show marked his death with a silent clock, basically 24's version of a tear-stained funeral, and yeah, he earned it. They could have taken out a dozen background agents nobody cared about. Instead, they chose Edgar, the guy who never hurt a soul. It didn't feel like suspense, it felt like emotional sabotage. Louis Lombardi's performance hit hard. Edgar didn't go out in a blaze of glory, he went out the way he lived, doing his job, helping his team, and getting zero thanks for it. Fans never forgot Edgar Stiles, but CTU, they moved on faster than Chloe closed his browser tabs. After unaliving every fan's heart as Edgar Stiles, Louis Lombardi kept working. A lot. He's popped up in Entourage, Mob City, 911, Magnum P.I., Gravesend, Young Rock, and more. He's also done plenty of films including Jersey Boys, Finding Steve McQueen, and Director's Cut in 2024. Off camera, he's written, directed, produced Doughboys, anyone? And even spoken publicly about his life in Hollywood. Also, the man loves food. Check his Instagram and you'll get it. Edgar may have gone out quietly, but Lombardi, he's still making noise. Number 4, Rosalind Shays, LA Law, NBC. At number 4, we present the queen of unexpected exits, Rosalind Shays. LA Law, which ran on NBC from 1986 to 1994, helped pioneer the workplace ensemble drama by following the personal and professional lives of high-powered attorneys in Los Angeles. Diana Muldaur played Rosalind with razor-sharp brilliance. She was manipulative, icy, ambitious, and absolutely magnetic. She brought in big clients, bulldozed her way into partnership, sued the firm for discrimination, and had a soapy love-hate affair with Leland Mackenzie, played by Richard Dysart.
They are also a disgruntled client with a diminishing respect for our work. Now, if Dan Siegfried finds himself sitting opposite, I'm sorry, Douglas, finds himself sitting opposite a lawyer with braces on his teeth, he is not going to be filled with confidence.
Ouch. Rosalind was the kind of character you loved to hate, emphasis on hate. Then one day, she was just gone. Picture this. It's 1991. Rosalind presses the elevator button mid-argument with Leland. The door opens, she turns, steps forward, and falls straight down an empty shaft. No dramatic music, no final monologue. Well, unless you count, ah!
I really don't want to talk about it.
The collective sound of jaws hitting the floor was deafening. Viewers didn't know whether to gasp or cheer. Some did both, because if any character needed to fall down an elevator shaft with zero warning, it was Rosalind Shays. But here's the wildest part. Diana Muldaur didn't even know it was coming. She found out by reading the script.
No, I had no idea until I opened the script that I was going down the elevator.
What about before that, Sleeping with Leland, for instance?
I didn't know about any of it, no.
Imagine flipping to your big scene and finding out your last line is, "Ah!" Behind the scenes, contract negotiations reportedly stalled, and rather than write her out with subtlety or closure, the writers took the nuclear option. The moment was so outrageous, Friends spoofed it, having Joey's soap opera character, Dr. Drake Ramore, fall down an elevator shaft on Days of Our Lives.
Drake?
Yeah, whatever.
Drake! Look out!
It was a direct nod to Rosalind's legendary drop, and for those of us who caught the reference, it was hysterical. Because when your TV death becomes the reference point for another over-the-top character send-off, that's not just iconic, that's television history. After her infamous elevator drop, Diana Muldaur stepped away from acting and officially retired in 1993, but she didn't exactly slow down. She became a respected dog breeder and show judge, worked at an animal shelter, and now spends her time with family, animals, and sailing. Oh, and before all that, she made history as the first female president of the Academy of Television Arts and Sciences. Rosalind may have gone down hard, but Diana Muldaur, she's still standing tall. Now, if you're reeling from this trip through television's most unexpected character send-offs, hit that like button and drop a comment telling us which TV unexpected demise made you yell, "Wait, what?" at the screen. And don't forget to subscribe. We've still got a couple more wild exits ahead, including one that took over the top way too literally. Number 3, Dr. Robert Romano, ER, NBC. At number 3, we've got Dr. Robert Romano from ER, and let's just say the writers had it out for this man. NBC's ER dominated Thursday nights for over a decade, and Romano, played by Paul McCrane, was one of its most unforgettable villains. He was arrogant, nasty, and brilliant. A walking HR violation in Scrubs, he bulldozed through County General like it was his personal playground and left a trail of burned bridges in his wake.
Am I interrupting? Your assistant wasn't at his desk.
We're in the middle of a meeting.
Oh, well, that would explain why you haven't returned any of my pages. Hi, I'm Dr. Romano.
But no one expected him to be taken out by a helicopter, let alone two. In season 9, Romano lost his arm when a helicopter rotor sheared it clean off on the rooftop helipad.
All right, got 10 grains of Tylenol and piggyback to gentamicin.
Brutal, yes, but he survived. He got a robotic arm, kept working, and shockingly showed the occasional flicker of humanity. Then came season 10. Romano was outside the hospital mid-rant yelling at Dr. Archie Morris for smoking pot. What he didn't know was that another hospital helicopter had just crashed on the roof. He looked up and saw the flaming wreckage coming straight for him. No time to run, no redemption arc, just impact, then nothing. The moment was so over the top, fans didn't know whether to laugh or gasp. It felt less like a dramatic death and more like Looney Tunes presents the ER Files. Romano's demise came in episode 8, Freefall, and his send-off was about as cold as his personality. A small plaque between two elevators. No major memorial. The only person who really seemed to mourn him was Elizabeth Corday. Everyone else moved on. Well, almost everyone. Romano left behind a generous donation to the hospital, and in a twist of poetic justice, Carrie Weaver used his money to fund a gay and lesbian medical program. An ironic jab at the same man who had once discriminated against her and her partner, Dr. Kim Legaspi. As for Paul McCrane, he's been candid about the exit. He admitted he was disappointed to leave, but not bitter. He always knew Romano was a tough sell long term. In his words, quote, he had run his course. And while the death was extreme, he appreciated that the producers let Romano go out with a bang. Literally. McCrane also made the most of his time on the show, starting as a guest star, becoming a series regular, and eventually directing episodes alongside Laura Ennis. After ER, McCrane kept busy on both sides of the camera, acting in 24, Harry's Law, All Rise, Barry, The Offer, The Terminal List, and more. He also directed episodes of Chicago PD, The Resident, Scandal, Empire, Grey's Anatomy, and Glee, just to name a few. Romano may have been crushed under flaming wreckage, but Paul McCrane's career is still very much intact. Number 2, Monica Mancuso, Las Vegas. At number 2, we head to the casino floor for Monica Mancuso from Las Vegas. This NBC drama ran from 2003 to 2008 and followed the chaos behind the scenes at the fictional Montecito Resort and Casino. Security threats, celebrity guests, and more Vegas drama than a bachelorette party in July. Monica, played by Lara Flynn Boyle, was introduced at the top of season 3 as the new owner of the Montecito. She was ruthless, flashy, and smart. A gold digger turned billionaire widow with zero chill.
Anyone screws up, I want them fired on the spot.
She came in hot and didn't care who got in her way. And then, less than halfway through the season, she got launched off the roof like a wayward cocktail napkin.
So I want you to come with me. Stand by my side because someday this all will be mine.
Monica's exit was bizarre, abrupt, and a definite "wait, did that actually happen" kind of moment. It was so sudden, DVRs across the country probably got whiplash from all the rewinding. One minute she was giving orders. The next, a gust of wind literally swept her off the roof and sent her sailing down the Las Vegas Strip until she crashed into a shoe store. No major buildup, no payoff, just bye, Monica. Now, here's the thing. This wasn't some weird last-minute choice or bitter send-off. The show's producers meant for it to be funny. Outrageous. Boyle was reportedly a great sport about it, but even with the comedy angle, her exit felt wildly abrupt. No investigation, no aftermath, no touching farewell, and she was replaced faster than a dealer on a cold streak. And it didn't stop there. Monica's will left $1 million to an old friend and requested that her ashes be flushed down the toilet in her suite. Classy to the bitter end. Las Vegas was never pretending to be Shakespeare, but Monica's departure took over the top to a whole new altitude. It's one thing to write a character out, it's another to launch them like a rogue piñata into downtown retail. As for Lara Flynn Boyle, well, she's continued acting with credits including films like Hansel and Gretel Get Baked, Death in Texas, and Mother Couch. She's also made a guest appearance on Law & Order, married a Texas real estate investor, and has spoken out about the challenges aging actresses face in Hollywood. While she keeps a low profile these days, she never really left the industry. She just started choosing projects a little more under the radar. Unlike Monica, Lara didn't vanish in a gust of wind. She's still here, doing things on her own terms. Number 1, Lieutenant Colonel Henry Blake, MASH. And our number 1 most shocking character elimination? Well, that honor goes to Lieutenant Colonel Henry Blake from MASH, the one that didn't just blindside viewers, it left a cultural bruise that never quite healed. On paper, MASH shouldn't have worked. It was a dark comedy set during the Korean War, blending surgical gore with wisecracks and moments of emotional devastation. That's not your typical primetime formula, but MASH didn't just work, it redefined what television could be. The show ran for 11 seasons on CBS from 1972 to 1983 and followed the doctors and staff of the 407th Mobile Army Surgical Hospital. Despite the backdrop of war, the heart of the show was always the people, and Henry Blake, played by McLean Stevenson, was the heart of the show.
What's a nug, sir? Oh, a nug is a gun, sir.
Henry was the well-meaning, slightly scatterbrained commanding officer who treated his staff like family. So when he received an honorable discharge and was able to go home to Bloomington, Illinois, it felt like a rare, happy ending.
Behave yourself, or I'm gonna come back and kick your butt.
He boarded his helicopter, everyone smiled and waved goodbye, a perfect send-off. Roll credits, right? Not quite. In the final scene of the season 3 finale, Radar walked into the operating room, voice trembling.
Lieutenant Colonel Henry Blake's plane was shot down over the Sea of Japan. It spun in. There were no survivors.
Silence. The surgical staff froze, the audience froze. This wasn't a dramatic swell or slow fade out. It was a gut punch with no warning and no relief. What made it even more shocking was how the writers pulled it off. The final page of the script, Radar's announcement, was kept a secret from most of the cast. Only Alan Alda was told in advance. So when Radar walked into the operating room and delivered that line, the shock on the actor's face was real. That wasn't just great acting, that was raw, unrehearsed heartbreak. The writers could have sent him home to his fishing boat, and instead they chose realism. In war, good people don't always get happy endings. Sometimes they just vanish. That moment changed television. It shattered the illusion that main characters were untouchable. It proved that even a show that made you laugh could still break your heart and do it without warning. McLean Stevenson had chosen to leave MASH, hoping to find success in other TV projects. He went on to headline a string of sitcom flops, The McLean Stevenson Show, In the Beginning, and Hello, Larry. Ironically, his best-known post-MASH appearance might have been a meta-gag about his accident on Cher's variety show.
Hey guys, I'm okay. I'm okay.
It was a playful nod to his infamous exit and a wink to the audience that never forgot. Stevenson later admitted he regretted leaving the show, realizing that viewers were more attached to Henry Blake than to him as a solo star. Though he never replicated his MASH success, he kept working, appearing on Match Game, The Golden Girls, guest hosting The Tonight Show, and even popping up in the TV version of Dirty Dancing. Sadly, Stevenson passed away in 1996 from a heart attack while recovering from bladder cancer. He's remembered fondly, not just for Henry Blake, but for his warmth, comedic timing, and the way he made us feel like part of the 4077th. And there you have it, 6 characters who got eliminated with all the warning of a surprise math test. From elevator shafts to helicopter strikes, these deaths prove that sometimes the most shocking moments come out of nowhere. So which one shocked you the most? Are there any others we missed? Let us know in the comments section below, and hey, if you enjoyed this video, tap the like button, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss what we have coming up next. Until next time, this is Remember When.